There's a 1 in 8 chance that a woman will develop breast cancer in her lifetime. And for Black women, we're more than likely to be diagnosed before the age of 50. Head to BaptistHealth.net right now to schedule your mammogram and be on the proactive side of care. Mammograms save lives. You can help transform Miami into a thriving global hub for artistic excellence. The Perez Create Grants Program will invest over $3.5 million in Miami-Dade County organizations to support equitable access to the arts. Apply now through May 26 by visiting miamifoundation.org/Perez Opportunities. Hello, News family. Get ready for the jazziest event of the spring season. Beyond the Curves presents Tea Time with BTC. It all goes down May 20th at 11 a.m., so get your tickets today. You can purchase your tickets right now at beyondthecurves.net. Again, that's beyondthecurves.net, and it's an exclusive event. So once you purchase your ticket, you'll get the location information. But get this, it's going to be a high tea fashion show, giveaways, light bites, and beverages. It all was curated by Beyond the Curves founder, Tamila Mullings. You see her right there on the screen. And look, if you're looking on the screen, you'll get the information for Instagram. You can connect with them online at Beyond the Curves. And again, you could get all the information that you need to know about the organization and the event at beyondthecurves.net. Again, it all goes down May 20th, Tea Time with Beyond the Curves. You do not want to miss it. Hilo News is happy to be a media partner with this amazing event. You guys do not want to miss out, and tell them that we sent you. See you there. Hey, what's up, Hello News family? Welcome to another episode of the Can't We Talk podcast, our show where we talk to dope people in the community doing dope things, and today is no different. Let's give a shout out to our advertisers, the people that allow us to do what we're doing right now. Shout out to Jack Daniels, Baptist Health, Beyond the Curves Foundation, and the Miami Foundation. So thank you guys for supporting us. Support the people that support us. But today, let's get right into it. We have an amazing interview, a follow-up interview, a story that we've been following for a very long time. I have some very special guests that I've been wanting to get back on this show and also interview. So we're talking about the Virginia Key Beach Trust and the beach in general and all the updates the community needs to know. So without further ado, I would love to welcome to the show for the very first time, Miss Teri Williams. Hey, what's up, Teri?
Janey, thanks for having me.
Of course. And let's welcome back Mr. Patrick Range. You guys recognize him. He came on giving us the tea the first time. Hey, Patrick.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Janey. Nice to see you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Look, let's jump right in. But first, I always want to give people their title. So, Teri, let people know your exact title, then Patrick will jump right into you.
Yep. I'm President and Chief Operating Officer and also owner of One United Bank. We're the largest Black-owned bank in the country, and we have an office right on Northwest 79th Street.
Hey, and Patrick, let's give them your credentials.
Absolutely. I'm manager and general counsel of Range Funeral Homes here in Miami. And I'm also a sole practitioner with the law offices in Patrick Range II.
Awesome. That's what's up. Come on, Black businesses. Let's go. Cool. So we're talking about a very interesting, let's just say exciting in the sense of issue of Virginia Key Beach. And people have been wanting to know what are the updates. And so I've been wanting to make sure that we keep them up to date. But I was like, let's talk to people who have been on the ground talking about these things and letting the community know what they need to do. So that was really important for me to bring you both on today. And so recently the city of Miami passed a resolution that will release the funds to get the Black Museum built. And that was a part of, the conversation as well with what will happen at Virginia Key Beach. So Teri, first time on the show, I'm going to jump right to you. Can you explain to the people what that means and what that resolution will look like per what the city of Miami is doing?
Well, first of all, I think there were two resolutions that were put forth. I think the one to release the funds was actually not voted on, but there was one that I believe was passed, which was to hire a firm to look at the development of the plan for the museum. And I think Patrick can talk a little bit about that firm because I believe it's a firm that was used in the past. I do think an update from us is helpful, but really it would be even more helpful if the actual new trust that was created actually has a meeting so that a public meeting so that they could inform the community about what's going on, and also that there is a community meeting that's held to get input in terms of what's going on. So, we're looking at it from the outside. We really need to really talk to people and hold them accountable that are on the inside that are really, at this point, responsible for Virginia Key Beach.
Got it. And Patrick, what do you want to add to that as far as the recent activity with the city of Miami?
Yes. So just, going back to the two resolutions, Teri's exactly right. The resolution that I believe, in fact, was passed was for the hiring of Lord Cultural Resources, who is a museum planner, a very well-known, well-respected museum planner around the country. And this was actually a firm that the former trust hired, and they actually executed a business plan for the museum. And the county had requested some time ago, after we presented this business plan to them, that they wanted to have the business plan revised in order to add additional sources of revenue generation for the museum. And so we had gone back, had discussions with Lord Cultural Resources, the consultant that they were looking to hire, to have them do just that, to come back in and revise the business plan. And the former trust could never get the item placed on the agenda for the commission to pass so that we could go forward with the revision of the business plan. So it's very curious now that they've come back with that. Certainly we have no issue with the consultant, Lord Cultural Resources. They are great at what they do, and they are the appropriate firm to do this work. But they've done this. They've not had a meeting. The new trust has not had a meeting. And so how are they going about hiring this firm without having had a meeting as yet? And so it's very curious. And also the other resolution, of course, to agree or to allow the city of Miami to accept the funds from the county. That was the crux of the other resolution. And we know that resolution was really just a showpiece. The county has not presented monies to the city as yet. So this was really a premature resolution by the city. Simply, again, a showpiece. I believe something to say, hey, well, there is something happening here with Virginia Key. But this resolution to accept monies that have not yet been presented to the city, was not necessary. So all this resolution will do is whenever the county does approve monies for the museum, then the city will say that they are in position to receive them. So those were the two resolutions at play for us and for the community's sake. The fact is that the new trust has not had a meeting, and we don't understand this. We were told when we removed the trustees that we were not moving in a swift enough fashion, amongst other things that they had said about us. And so we are saying now, where's the enthusiasm? Where's the movement? With the new trust, we know that they have appointed, the alternate trustees, two alternate trustees to the board that are to serve along with the other commissioners, but they have not yet had a meeting. So when will they have a meeting? When will the public get to understand what's going on? Also, and I'll be quiet after this and let you come back, but also Commissioner Christine King indicated at the time that we were removed that she would be coming to the community. She would be holding a community meeting to get the community's input and to present a vision for the museum going forward. That community meeting has not taken place. So we are saying what's going on. You've taken the former trustees out of their position, not allowed us to continue our work, and you've put other folks in place there now, and there's been zero movement since that's happened, and we're talking about several months now. So we like you are wondering what's going on, what is the update, and so we did. I myself did go down to the city commission when these two resolutions were presented, and we stated on the record exactly that. We are waiting on a community meeting. We are waiting on you to meet trustees, and we feel that, as we felt before, that you all are not in position to move this forward in an efficient fashion as the trust would be. So restore the trust, allow us to go back to work, and assist you, City Commission, with getting this done.
Got it. Teri, is there anything that you would like to add to that?
Only, as a banker, and I want to sort of clarify my comments because I'm not an elected official, I'm not a politician. But as a banker, I have to say that we do need to follow the money. So even though it may have been a resolution that, as Patrick said, was to sort of appear like they're moving forward, my greatest concern is that we will utilize this $20 million and not have a museum. Like, that's my greatest concern. And $20 million is a lot of money. I've been hearing, it needs to be more than 20 million. $20 million is a lot of money. In fact, it's more than, maybe it is 20, it's 20.5 or something like that. It's a lot of money to build a museum that really represents our history, the Black history in Miami, which there's nothing like it that exists today. And to have this money allocated is really a good thing for our community, but we do need to use it wisely. And I just want to make sure that happens. I think we all want to make sure that happens.
No, I agree. I did hear some chatter, as you did, about 20 million not being enough. From your perspective as someone in the financial industry, do you think that a museum that is worthy of the community could be built for the $20.5 million that is allocated?
But what I will say is that there are experts that can give us that answer. Just as someone that does see buildings being built, I do think that you can build a sizable building for $20 million. I think the issue that the county has said, and Patrick, again, you can correct me, is that there's a concern that we could build it, but could we maintain it? Because it does require maintenance, anytime, whether you buy a house or, have a business operation, it requires a maintenance and as well as ongoing operating expenses. So I think that there does need to be some clarity about where those funds will come from. And I also think, because funds are provided to other cultural institutions in Miami, that there should be some funds to support this. There are institutions within our county that are cultural that receive ongoing funding from the county as well as from the city, and we should be no different. That doesn't mean that we, shouldn't also identify ways, to generate, money from the museum. However, I think the concept of, okay, it's just not enough money, so we just can't go forward at all. I think we really need to push back on that.
And Patrick, what do you want to add?
Yeah, so it's unfortunate that, first of all, let me just say, we have been played with. The first thing, when the former trust presented the initial plan for the museum, it was 35,000 square feet. We were told at that time, the museum is too large. You all need to downsize it. You do not have, as Teri suggested, and as I was mentioning before, you do not have the sufficient revenue generation plans in place to be able to sustain and support and maintain this museum of 35,000 square feet. So you all need to reduce the size. We went back, and we're talking about, this is 10, 15 years ago now. We went back, reduced the size, said, look, we can do something lesser and still have something substantial, because for us, the museum is not just going to be the building. It's also going to be the surrounding environmental area. the entire park is the museum. And so the building itself will only be one portion of the museum, and we will showcase certain things within the building, but we will also be showcasing things without the building. So we were very much prepared to produce a museum that would have easily been built with the 20.5 million, and would also give a substantial representation of our history and the environmental gem that the park is. And so now for folks to come back and say, well, you know, there needs to be more money, this needs to be bigger, or whatever the case may be, you know, it's another way to deflect and distract from you know, the work that has already been done in terms of trying to get this this museum built, and just totally a disrespect to those who were there previously and working towards this goal.
So you guys are saying with that money, we can get what we need done. We don't need to be playing with the money and saying like we need more, or at least that's a starting point for the community to get what was proposed done. I would like to ask you guys
Absolutely.
about the board member, the new board and the new director, and why do you guys think or do you guys have any insight on why there hasn't been a public meeting? I know, Patrick, you spoke on it, but Teri, can you guys provide any insight on why this hasn't happened?
I really can't. I mean, I think, you know, part of the challenge is the city commissioners have a lot on their plate. Is this a priority, as it is for us in our community? You know, this is the other, you know, sort of bigger issue that I think we have as a community that really goes beyond Virginia Key Beach, which is that we as a community, and I'm specifically talking about as the Black community, you know, in Miami-Dade County, as well as, you know, Southern Florida, but let's specifically talk about Miami-Dade County. We have to make sure that we push to make ourselves a priority. You know, as a community, if we don't push, you know, if we don't sort of push ourselves, nobody is going to push for us. Sometimes we, you know, have this tendency to feel if we elect someone, we can then go to sleep, you know, until the next, you know, election day. But really, we have to do an ongoing push to, you know, to both support that person as well as push our community agenda on the broader commission. So, you know, part of this is this a priority? Because for us it is, and it was for the former board that was dismantled. But for the county commissioners, you know, it does not appear as though it's a priority. And so that's, you know, one of the possibilities. It could be that they're doing some things behind the scenes they're not sharing. I mean, that's the other possibility that, but that shouldn't be the case. I mean, they should come before the community. And what I'll also say is that when I, you know, go to the community and ask for feedback, I get really great ideas. You know, nobody has the answer to anything. And that it really is helpful to just, you know, come to the community and say, what is it that you would like to see with this museum? So I guess to answer your question, Janey, is no, I don't know why they haven't met, but we really need to push them to meet.
Got it. I was just trying to see if there was any tea, like maybe the city said, well, we're working on something. I'm like, I was trying to see if you guys had any information, because I've been waiting too as well to see if there would be a meeting. I want to jump into the Black Miami-Dade Matters at blackmiamidade.org. Let's start here. What is the name of the community group that is rallying to make sure that the Virginia Key Beach Trust and Virginia Key Beach stays in community hands? I know this was started as a movement. There's a press release and things went out, and I saw different names, and that's something I brought up as well, that the branding was a little bit confusing. So Teri, I'll ask you, what should we call this in the community? What is this?
Well, I think one of the confusing parts as we were going down this road is that we really were focused broadly on Black Miami-Dade County and saying that we want our fair share. We represent 20% of the community, of the population in Miami-Dade. Black folks do, but we only get 2% of the economic resources. So we got 20%, we represent 20% of the people, but we only get 2% of the resources. And we were saying enough is enough, and that we really need to ensure that we fight to get our fair share. Then, as we were doing that, Virginia Key Beach came up. And it was almost like, okay, we wanted to go forward and ask for our fair share and get more. And here we had a situation where we were going backwards, where we were getting thrown out, where our money was starting to get compromised that was already there for the Black community. So we really wanted to sort of separate the two because, under this umbrella of our fair share are a lot of different topics that we could talk about. Virginia Key Beach is one of them. There's another one coming up now with Brownsville and Hialeah trying to, take part of Brownsville. That's another one. We got Point Siena. That's another one. We got what's happening in Overtown. We got a lot of areas within our community that we have to fight because, if we don't, then our culture is going to get removed. Mm-hmm. When I think for myself, being in other cities, I was able to see the progress that the Black community was making, after George Floyd, where people, organizations were getting a tremendous amount of resources for the Black community. And I am really disappointed that the reverse is happening here in Miami-Dade, and I don't, it's not, well, let me just continue. It's like, because the point I was trying to make is not that people aren't doing great things. So I'm not trying to take away from the wonderful work that people are doing. At the same time, this 20% to 2% is an indication that we're not doing enough. And so we as a community have to really fight for ourselves, which I do think if an elected official is a great elected official, and we have many of them, they will appreciate the fight. I talked to, for instance, Congressman Wilson, and she is down for the fight. You tell Congresswoman Wilson something is going down and that we need to fight for our community. She is down for the fight. So there are elected officials that understand that we have to fight. And if we don't, then we, as I said, we go backwards. Resources are taken from us.
Mm-hmm. And, I totally understand that. And I think the community is down to fight. I think it became confusion on who do I support or what is this entity that I should be supporting? Where do I find them? How do I, engage with them? And I think that was the missing piece, especially as I saw millennials wanting to get involved. There was not really a online or social media piece that we could partake in. So I think that was the part where people are like, because even now I'm still like, is it called Our Fair Share? Is that the overall umbrella? And then Black Miami-Dade is under it, and Black Miami Matters falls under Our Fair Share, this initiative or this movement. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes. I mean, I think Our Fair Share is one way of putting it. We've also said enough is enough. Enough is enough. But yes, that is the umbrella. Black Miami-Dade County is the umbrella of basically saying, that this 2 to 20% needs to be addressed. But then there may be from time to time specific projects that we need to focus on. And when we do focus on those projects, we also need to, to try to be a united front. I mean, this is the other thing, the divide and conquer is not a good thing for our community. And, I hope that we can come together. I mean, that was one of the, the problems we had with Virginia Key Beach is that we felt like we were fighting ourselves, our own community, that we were being, thrown under the bus, the way that, the former trust was talked about and, that they had their hands in the cookie jar, and which was not true. And, that they couldn't move things forward, which is not true. And so, to have those things being said, about our community, just seemed not in the best interest of our community. And so you will hear us talk about things, needing to happen. It is our hope that we can come together as a community and make it happen.
Is there a centralized place that people can either sign up or follow to be able to get that information?
Yes, and I'm going to give it to you in 1 second. So let me give you the website.
Okay, so while you're doing that, Patrick, because I know our time is wrapping up. Patrick, in my interview, we discussed this, and I know Teri may have to hop off. So if you want to continue talking, we can, Patrick. But I wanted to know, in my interview with Commissioner King, she said that she shared with you that you knew her plans regarding the removal of the trust. And I wanted to know from you, did you fully understand what that meant, or did that conversation take place?
Yes, it was I did have a meeting with Commissioner King, which was my first meeting, my first time ever meeting her, period. And at this meeting, she presented the idea of wanting to have 5 appointments to the commission. She was very upset and concerned that during and I don't know if you recall, Janey, but there was a proposal to have a homeless facility placed on Virginia Key.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of backlash.
Patrick is having some connection issues.
Yeah.
We'll give him a few seconds to come back. Let's see. Here you are.
I apologize. Can you hear me? I know my connection.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. And you were saying that
I was saying simply that, yes, that proposal that came forward, wound up being very controversial. And there were a number of people apparently that contacted her office, people from our community and people that were concerned, not myself and not anyone from the trust that I'm aware of, the former trust, but people from the community that called and expressed concern about a homeless encampment being placed on Virginia Key. At this meeting, she expressed her concerns and displeasure with having received those calls. And she said, look, this beach is not in my district, but if I'm going to be held responsible for it, then, I want to have control over it. So it was at that point that she expressed the desire to want to have 5 appointments to the trust. And she asked my thoughts about that. And I said, well, no, I said, I don't agree with that. I said, and I was not thinking of the other commissioners. I was thinking of the one commissioner that had been supportive of us, who was the District 2 commissioner at the time, Ken Russell. And I said, I'm not really in favor of that. I said, because if you take away his appointment, then, what impetus does he have to continue to support the trust? And he has been instrumental, and the District 2 commissioner has always been instrumental in supporting the trust and supporting what we are doing, because it's in District 2. So I said, if you take away his appointment, what interest is he going to have in helping us going forward? And so clearly she was adamant about, going forward with that. But I did not think at that time that was something that she was gung-ho about doing, that she was going to go forward with it. I thought that she was simply broaching this as an idea with me as a new commissioner, which she was. And so, I said, well, look, I said, I don't have a problem with you having 5 appointments if that is agreeable, to everyone else. But I also expressed concern. I said, well, look, I said, you need to talk this out and give some time, because, I need to broach this with my board, and even see what their thoughts are about it, before you go forward with this. Because, of course, if you have 5 appointments, that means, of course, you can remove existing appointees. And it was never my thought or desire that any of the existing trustees would be removed, even if she went forward with this plan, supposedly. So yes, so she did present this to me at the very first meeting that I had with her, where I introduced myself to her. And, so it was very disappointing. that she, immediately went and put this on the next commission agenda to remove all of the existing trustees and to have, she was going to have her 5 appointees to the trust. And so, before this even came before the commission, I called her office and I said, look, I said, Commissioner, I see you have this on the agenda. You need to take this off of the agenda. And she refused to do so. And it went forward. I think she was very surprised with the other commissioners' comments in them saying, well, no, we're not going to give up our appointments. And as a matter of fact, we want to sit as the trustees. And so at that point, she saw that it was, being taken away from her. And there was even, I believe, a suggestion that one of the other commissioners be made chairman of the trust. Yeah. So, she lost control of it once she presented that resolution. And I think she didn't know what to do from that point. But to answer your question, no, I was never in agreement with that idea. She did present it to me, but I never had any clue that she was going to actually bring this to the commission.
Got it. And I'm sorry I was interrupting. I just was looking at the time and I know Teri has to leave. So I want to give you, and if you can hang on a few minutes, Patrick, I had a few more questions for you. But Teri, I wanted to give you an opportunity to give us that information about the centralized location on where people can get information and just your final thoughts on what you think people in the community need to do to make sure that we're involved in this matter and that our voices are heard.
Yep. So the website is Black Miami Matters. I'm Virginia Key Beach. It shares information about the history, and it also has a place for you to put your name and email address and contact information and make comments. And we do follow up on those for people that put their information in there. So that's the central place for Virginia Key Beach.
Is it blackmiamimatters.org or is that Black Miami Matters? Is there anything on social media that people can? No, we are looking at some other avenues that we'll pursue, but it really is that one place for people. And then we, follow up with an email and let them know what's going on. And then the second I would say is just for all of us to really remain active and to know what's going on. Whether it's the county commissioners, the city commissioners, or city hall, the decisions that are made really do impact our lives, and they really could help us progress. But they can also help, push us to digress. So we really do need to push, for our fair share and let them know that enough is enough, and that, that Black Miami does matter, and that, again, the 20%. Of the population and only 2% of the economic benefit is just not acceptable anymore. I hear you. Thank you. Teri, before you go,
thank you. Yes.
How can people connect with you? Or is there something online or a ways for them to connect with you?
Yeah. So first of all, I One United Bank. That's One United, ONE-United.com is my day job. It's like what I do. And we are also on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and you can also LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn as well. Sometimes people send me messages through LinkedIn, but I'm also, you could just stop by the bank. I would say that to people. People are always surprised. I'm like, no, I'm actually there. You can stop by the bank. So thank you. And congratulations, Janey.
Oh, thank you.
So I have to say hi-lo, and Janey won the rising business star for the Miami-Dade Chamber, and I was fortunate to be there when you got your award. But congratulations.
I appreciate it, Teri. We got to have you back. I know you got to run, but we need to have a follow-up interview with you.
Okay, thanks, Patrick.
Thanks.
Bye.
And Patrick, before I let you go, what can the community do? What are some tangible things that they can do to stay engaged, to make sure that they are being a supportive voice of the movement that you and Teri and the other leaders of the Black Miami Matters is doing? Like, what are some tangible things that they can do?
Well, obviously, first and foremost, as Teri said, visit the website, sign in, put your personal information in. That way, you'll get emails from Teri and from the group about what's going on, when things are happening, when you can be supportive, events you can go out to, those sorts of things. So that's step number one. And then obviously, continuing to stay involved. We just have to do a better job. And Teri alluded to this earlier, of holding our elected officials accountable and staying involved in the political process. And that starts with voting, and electing those persons that we feel are best going to represent us. But it doesn't end there. Once the election is over, we have to continue to stay involved. And we have to let these elected officials know that we are involved and we are concerned and that we are watching what they are doing, and that we expect them to hold good to the promises and the agendas that they have presented to our community, upon entering office. And so we have to continue to be active. We cannot afford to be passive because we are losing things in our community every single day. So we have to continue to be active. We have to encourage our neighbors to be active. It's not enough just for us to be involved. We have to get the person to our left and the person to our right involved, and so that we can be more effective as a community. Because the old saying goes, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? And so we have to speak up. We have to be vocal. We have to let folks know that we are concerned and involved and paying attention to what's going on, if we want them to hold true and to do the things that we expect them to do while they're in office.
Got it. And during my interview, Commissioner King said that she's open to working with anybody in the community. Would you be open to, at this point, working with her just for the good of the museum to get things done? And what could that look like?
I have certainly proposed all sorts of things to her and to the commission to allow us to stay involved. Again, recall this former board that I was the chair of and served as trustee on was a volunteer board. It's not a paid board. The persons that were there because they had a passion for the beach and the park. And so that passion has not died within me. It's not died within the former trustees. We are still here and we are available. And I've said this to Commissioner King. I've said this to the entire city commission. I am here any way that I can be of assistance. The goal for me is to get this museum built. I could care less about the politics and all of the foolishness that's going on. I'm very hurt and very upset by the fact that the trust was removed. But the end goal for me is seeing this museum built and seeing it built the way that the voters intended for it to be built. And so that's what I'm about. And so I am available. Most of the former trustees feel the same as I do. And so we would love to see the trust restored. That's what we feel the appropriate thing to do is. But I have recommended having a task force, a side working group. It could be former trustees. It could be other folks from the community that are there to provide input and provide assistance with getting this done. My fear from the beginning was that the commission was not going to place this as a priority. They were not going to take the time to have the meetings necessary. They were not going to put the energy necessary into this to get it done. The other fear is also that there's an ulterior motive to build a hotel or have some sort of development, to go, in here so that there can be some money made by some folks, while this whole museum process is going on. I don't have a problem with anybody making some money. That's okay. But, our eyes have to stay on the prize here. And that is having the first museum dedicated to the Black immigrant experience here in Miami. And the community deserves that. The community deserves that at whatever cost. And so I am here. The former trustees are here. Teri and her and our group are here to ensure that gets done. And so we are open, we are available, and we welcome Commissioner King's thoughts, suggestions, movements, actions to move this museum forward. And we will fit in. We will get in where we fit in, sort of thing. But nevertheless, that does not decrease our desire to have the trust restored, because again, from the beginning, the trust was created so that the community would have the opportunity to be stewards over this land. If the commission was going to do it, there was no reason to create the trust. So the trust was created to allow the community to have this voice and to be the stewards over this land. And so all we're saying is, hey, let's put this back the way it's supposed to be. Commission, you still will have oversight over anything that the trust does as you did before. So there's nothing that we can bring forward without you, City Commission, saying, yes, this is okay.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're saying is put us back, let us do our job. You guys get back to doing your job, and let's get this museum built.
And would you say for you, whether you're on the trust or whatever your capacity is, would you say your main focus is making sure this gets done and that the community is at what their needs are is at the forefront for you? Does it matter who does it or what, how it gets done, long as it gets done? Would you agree to that?
I mean, look, I mean, I wear multiple hats. I have enough work to do between my family business and my law firm. I don't need any extra things to do. So if somebody else is going to do it and do it the right way, hey, by all means, please have at it. And I will sit back in a supportive role and whatever support I can offer and be, I will do that. I have no issue with that. This is not about me. And I've been saying that from the beginning. This is not about me. This is about getting this museum done. My name doesn't have to appear anywhere. My face doesn't have to appear anywhere. The goal is to get this done for the community so that our kids and our grandkids and those that come after them will know who they are and where they have come from and what the struggle was for us to get to where we are today. That's what it's about. Point blank, plain and simple, Janey.
I appreciate you, Patrick. Before I let you go, any final thoughts, anything that you would like to comment on, whether it's my interview, my Facebook post that I've done, because I definitely talked about both sides of this issue. Definitely wanted to extend that platform. I always want people to be able to reply or talk about anything that we reported, that we put out there to the community, or anything that you feel like needs clarity.
Well, I just want to appreciate you for your objectivity. And I too want to applaud you for, your recent award, from the chamber. Very appropriate. And, we need outlets like yours for our young folks to be able to come forward and to be informed, and also to have an opportunity to express their concerns as well. That's something that we've not had in this community in the past. And it's something that we need. The youth and the young folks are equally important to where we're going in the future. And they need to be involved as much, if not more, than the older folks and the older heads that have been out here. If the young folks are engaged, that will ensure, that the community is engaged and that our politicians are engaged. And so it's uber important, the work that you're doing, Janey. And so I just applaud you. I ask you to, continue to do what you're doing in informing our folks about what's going on here. That is so important. And we just pray that you, you are able to continue and be successful at what you're doing. Because if you're successful, that means that our community has a greater chance of being successful. So Congratulations, keep up the good work. And let's get this museum built. Let's get Black Miami back in the position of strength and in the forefront as it has been and as it should be.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Patrick, Mr. Range. And, please come back. Is there updates? And if you're, we talked about this before, but I would love to have you to keep coming back as the city of Miami keeps passing things, or there's discussions, so that you can break things down from the community perspective as a non-elected official for people to understand what's going on. So I just thank you for, dropping whatever, always taking my calls and being able to explain things to me and coming on the show again. I really, really appreciate that. The community appreciates it. And I thank you for keeping us informed and shining the light on what's going on. And I pray that one day we all could just, whatever happens, that this stays in the hands of the Black community, that we're involved, we're valuable members of it, and we get some economic benefit from this as well, because all of this will be for naught if we're just forgotten and somebody else does this. So thank you for keeping the community, the Black community, engaged and having a voice. Because I see you every article, quote from Patrick Range at the commission meeting, like you be on it at those commission meetings, and we need to have people there from the community who are speaking on our behalf. So I appreciate that. And hopefully one day, I hope you and Commissioner King can be able to kumbaya and get it going and be able to move things forward. Because I think that's what I think that, to me personally, I think that's the missing piece of it, that it feels like there's a division and sometimes people feel like they need to take sides. But I feel like if you guys were able to come to some type of, agreement on like how things can work, how you guys can work together, I think we will see the community rallying behind that. I mean, I know I just threw that out there, but what do you think about what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm here and I'm open. I'm not here to be a hindrance. I'm not here to be a negative, or a cloud over this thing. I just want to be here to help. That's it. And so, however I can do that, like I said, I don't need to be at the forefront. I can be in the background. I just want to see to it that the museum gets done and that it's there for posterity for our community's sake. So my hope, I align my hopes and wishes with yours. I hope that we can come together and work together to get this done. I'm all for that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This has been informative. Guys, let's make sure we go to Black Miami Day Matters, BlackMiamiMatters.org. BlackMiamiMatters.org to get updates, to get added to get emails from them. They'll keep you guys informed. That's a community group that is staying on the forefront of what's going on with the Virginia Key Beach. Thank you again, Patrick, for coming on the show today. I truly appreciate you. Please come back. You're a friend of the show. And I just thank you for always breaking these things down for the community. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you, Janey. My pleasure. And I look forward to the next time. I'll certainly be available to you. We look forward.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye. Wow, guys. That was an informative, up-to-date things, everything that we need to know about what's going on with Virginia Key Beach. Again, another special thank you to Teri Williams, president owner, CEO of One United Bank, and also Patrick Range, CEO of Range Funeral Homes, and his law firm, and just all the things that he's doing in the community. We've been following this, and so I want to keep bringing people on who could present both sides of this matter, and just also to present the community with solutions on what we can do to make sure that our voices are heard, and we're moving in the right direction to make sure that this treasured piece of real estate that is a historic gem to the Black community, that means so much to the Black community, that Black people have a say in this, and that the community has a say in this. And so I genuinely think both sides want the same thing. We'll just see how this all plays out and how it all comes together. And ultimately, we hope that this museum gets built. So thank you again, guys. This has been another amazing episode of the Can We Talk podcast. You guys make sure you head to highlowNewsMiami.com. We'll have links up, and we'll have this interview up there, so that if you guys want to connect with Black Miami Day Matters, you guys could do that there on our website. Also, too, while you're there, subscribe to our newsletter. That is the place where you can get our news first, our weekly exclusive news that we put out every Saturday morning. And then also, too, we're on all the social media channels: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Black Planet, put a message in a bottle. We're everywhere. So, guys, just make sure you guys are subscribing with us. We thank you guys for rocking with us. Again, thank you, Teri and Patrick, for coming on. And we'll see you guys next time. This has been another amazing show of Can We Talk podcast. So informative. You guys have some food for thought and some action orders there. So we'll see you next time. Peace.